Ben Foakes struck just the third first-class 100 of his career, and a career best in fact, to back up yet another 6-wicket haul for David Masters, as Essex had the better of the penultimate day of their rain-affected match with Gloucestershire in Bristol. Just 31 overs have been possible on the first couple of days, and we started an hour late on day 3, with opener Chris Dent able to get the 3 runs he needed to convert his overnight score into a fine 50. He'd held this innings together, reaching his half-century off 105 balls with his 9th 4. Gloucestershire, who began on 104 for 6, were soon on 110 for 7, as Ian Saxelby edged Masters low down to Alistair Cook to give the bowler his 22nd 5-wicket haul as an Essex player in just his 7th season for them. It was his 2nd already of this campaign. Graham Napier then got one through James Fuller to reduce the home side to 129 for 8, with the talk now turning to whether Dent would carry his bat through the innings. That came a little closer when Graham McCarter was bowled by Masters, who was to end with figures of 6 for 48. Napier also collected figures of 4 for 62, as Dent was the last man out for 61. Cook with his 3rd catch of the innings, as Gloucestershire were dismissed for just 134. Not that Essex made a very good start to their reply. Cook, who started this season in fine form, lasted only 3 balls here before he cut Matt Taylor to McCarter to go for 4. Saxelby then reduced the visitors to 18 for 2 when Tom Wesley edged to Alex Gidman after making 9. It was Saxelby's first championship wicket since August 2012 because of injury. So it was left to Jake Mickleborough and Ravi Bopara to try to restore things for their team. Wickets had fallen all too often in this game so far, although they had made up a little for the amount of time lost in this game to date. With Gloucestershire bowled out cheaply, Essex knew that, in spite of all the rain, they could still win this match if they could get a decent first innings lead. These two were at least able to add 41 runs for the 3rd wicket in 13 overs. A number of batsmen have been strangled down the leg side this summer, and Bopara became the latest of them, as he departed for 14 off the bowling of McCarter. The same man was celebrating again in his next over, as Greg Smith was out to a regulation catch for the wicketkeeper this time. Taylor then had Mickleborough LBW for 32, and those thoughts of a big lead were disappearing quickly, with Essex now slumping themselves to 71 for 5. Yet in spite of all those wickets in the first 3 hours of the day, there was not to be another one for some time, as Foakes and his captain James Foster altered the makeup of this match. Of course, they were careful at the start of their innings after coming in only an over apart. Both waited for the bad ball to hit, as they almost matched each other shot for shot, running well between the wickets when they weren't sending the ball crashing to the boundary ropes. Nothing had changed in either the conditions ahead or to the surface, but given time, these two started to make batting look a lot easier. 21-year-old Foakes came into this match with only 5 50s and 200s in the first-class game. He has now firmly established himself in the middle order at Essex, and a lot of people have suggested an England future ahead. He beat Foster to his 50 here, as he took 3 4s off the same Will Gidman over. And from there, with the confidence running through him, he took over, leaving Foster in his wake. He produced some gorgeous shots, as he showed those who'd not seen him bat before just how good he really is. He's already had those at the top of the game watching his progress closely, and from this exhibition it's easy to see why. From this evidence, he doesn't appear to favour either the front or the back foot for his shots. He has every one of them in his locker, and in no time at all he was taking this game away from Gloucestershire, as Foster admired from the non-striker's end. Foakes had raced on to 98 by the time that Foster scampered through for a single he needed to complete his own excellent half-century. The Essex legend had used up 98 balls for his latest 50, from which he'd struck 5 4s. Foakes took a single off the next ball to keep the strike, and then cut a gift from Dent through the covers for his 12th boundary to get to 3 figures off just 128 deliveries. His second 50 had come off only 40 in an innings which had completely changed the match situation in Bristol. No wonder he was so warmly congratulated by his skipper. With that done, it was now the turn of Foster to play his shots. He'd almost stood to one side to let Foakes have his moment, but now it was Foster who pushed on. When these two had come together with their side in trouble, the scoring rate of the innings was less than 3 per over. This pair now had it above 4, and Gloucestershire must have started to wonder how on earth they were going to bring an end to a match-changing partnership. The second new ball wasn't even close to arriving, as this pair continued to make hay. It was more akin to one-day fare now, as Foakes passed its previous best score of 120, made against Leicestershire at Chelmsford last year. In 44 overs together, these two had put on an astonishing 218 runs, and Foster was just 9 short of his own brilliant century when he got a tickle on a short ball from Saxelby. That was some relief for the fielding side, who then also removed Napier, who turned a ball from McCarter to Taylor at mid-wicket. In pursuit of more quick runs at the end of the day, Masters uppercut Saxelby to Will Tavare, as Essex ended the day on 305 for 8, with Foakes still there on an awesome 132, made from 157 balls. So Essex have a lead of 171 to take into the last day, and that at least gives them a chance of winning for the second time this summer in Championship cricket. Gloucestershire, though, know that in order for them to save this game, they simply need to bat much better second time around.